So hey there fellow YouTubers, Frank Bush here again. So I know it's been a little while since I put out a video. I've had a lot going on my end when it comes to life. But I've had a lot of comments left on my channel in regards to how are the solar panels and the solar curtains and that working out. So I thought I'd just do a quick little video off, kind of discuss the level of productivity. You know, it's been a year or two now since I've installed a lot of this stuff, and kind of give you an idea of the performance that's been going on. So if you're interested in that kind of content, stay tuned. So, and people that haven't gone back and watched the solar videos, I guess I'll give a little kind of detailed what I've got going on here. So in this array setup that I have here, I'm producing about 995 watts worth of power. That's the kind of peak that can come off these solar panels. And I'll shift camera angles and I'll show you the battery and how it's been holding up with those lithium iron phosphate batteries, and I'll show you kind of where that's at after a couple of years. And I've got the solar curtains here that are up in these windows. You can't really see much of them because they're just this black surface, but I've got the solar curtains that I've put in here. And like I said in previous, and I've got one here. And then when it comes to, I was gonna put some solar curtains in my higher windows that were up there, but I ended up just putting the material in my main patio window here because, like I say, this is all south facing, so it gets a lot of sun. So I'll stop, shift angles. Kind of just wanted to show you guys, you know, the basic setup, if you will, but I'll shift angles and go inside and start talking about the productivity and the energy production and stuff that I've seen over the last year or two, and give you an idea of how much savings I've really acquired out of having this setup. So if you've watched previous solar build out videos that I've done, this is the crate build that I did a full detailed breakdown build on. I think it was about, I'm gonna say about 2 years ago now, but I've still got my meter attached to it, so it's easy enough to pull it up and kind of show you the status of things. It's been a half decent sunny day today, but when it comes to the charge of things, the batteries are sitting at 88.3%. And as you can see here, this, when I first hooked it up 2 years ago, the batteries were at 200 when it came to this meter because they were brand new batteries. So this is now, like I say, it's been about 2 years since I've done this build out, and I've been using it daily since. So it's now down to 195 ampere hours of total power that I could store in these. So over the span of 2 years, you know, the batteries have dropped by what, about 2-3%, maybe nothing. You know, when it comes to the longevity of these lithium iron phosphate batteries, they really are excellent at being able to work for years and years and years. And to give you an idea with this setup, I know I've kind of mentioned it in previous videos, I'll shift camera angles and talk about the main power draws that I have coming off this unit, yeah? So now I've just turned my television off for right now, just so it's not, you know, distraction in the background. But generally speaking, I've got a modem here that runs purely off the solar, and I've got some speakers in the back, a little Roku, my television, that kind of thing. You know, a little light that I'm running, my living room light. It's only a little 5-watt light bulb. But this is the stuff that I'm, generally speaking, running off of my solar setup that I have here that kind of powers my living room, if you will. And it's been a solid performer. Over the last 2 years, it probably has powered the entire living room. You know, there's been some dark, crappy weather in the wintertime and stuff, but I'm going to say that my living room has been run purely off solar for probably about 350 days out of the year. You know, there's been a couple days where it was really cloudy and overcast, and I had to switch over to the AC transfer switch. So now I'll just switch back here. I've got this AC transfer switch here that allows it to automatically toggle back over to pulling power off the wall rather than the solar setup. But generally speaking, this solar unit's been able to power my living room for the vast majority of the year without issue. You know, in the summer times I produce more power than I need. Quite often the solar panels will end up filling up the batteries 100%, and you know, by the time it even hits, say, noon, 1 o'clock, and I'm still running my TV and stuff, but I just don't have the depth of batteries to store more of the energy. If I turn around and wired in, I've got another stack of batteries here, which I've used for a separate project. This is more 12 volt, but I could easily wire this stack to that stack and have it that I had a deeper depth of charge. But I like having this where I can just throw it in the truck and take it with me when I want to do, you know, camping and 12 volt cooking and that kind of stuff. This was a separate build that I built out previous in a little battery box, if you watch previous videos of mine, but I decided to kind of expand it out and make it similar to the original crate build out that I did previously in time, just because I liked that setup and I liked the depth of power and stuff. So hopefully that's a quick update for the solar stuff for the people that were kind of curious about that. Yeah, it's been a solid performer. You know, it's rock solid, really. The batteries have lasted. I haven't had any issues in the build out at all. I've used it daily. It's been producing probably about a kilowatt, maybe more of power a day for me. So, you know, it's really been a stable unit. I've got this little unit here. I think I've shown that out in previous videos as well, but I use this when I want to go kind of really light and just have it where I'm going for a day or two, whereas this setup is more for if I wanted to go for a week at a time and I just want to be able to run 12-volt devices and USB and that kind of stuff. But I can talk further in a separate video on that. Like I say, I really just wanted to make this a quick update. I'll shift gears now and talk about the curtains and the level of solar performance that I've gotten out of them. It's really been quite impressive. So let me shift camera angles and we'll kind of discuss the solar curtains performance as I've gone through time too, yeah? So like I say, with the solar curtains, there's really not much to see. I've got the curtains just hung up in my windows here. And in the solar curtain build-out video, I showed this in detail of, you know, hanging those and everything else. But I've got the one up in this window. And like I say, in the video that I actually did the full build-out and install of all those, you can go back and see the details of that if you're interested. I put two other ones that are, these are all about a yard square, you know, meter square, to give you an idea of the size of them. And then when it comes to the surplus fabric that I had left over, I was going to make another curtain and stuff, but instead all I ended up doing was just draping it over my curtains that were hanging in the patio window, so that I've got probably 1.5 meters by a meter. So, you know, a little over 1.5 yards by a yard, in ballparking sizes here. And I've let those just sit in the window. Now, to give you an idea, the area I live in is a cooler environment where, generally speaking, I'm going to be running my electric baseboard heating on a regular basis because I'm sitting on a cement pad here in the townhouse that I own. So I'm sitting on a cement pad and it's cool even in the summertime. One way or the other, normally I'm running hydro through the better part of the year just to kind of keep everything at about, you know, 70 degrees Fahrenheit, 20 degrees Celsius, that kind of thing. The amount of energy that I've saved off of the production of these curtains has been just absolutely fantastic. I've had it anywhere where I'm producing the equivalent of about between 6 kilowatts and 10 kilowatts of heat energy into my home on any given day that the sun is shining on these curtains. So to give you an idea of the impact of that when it comes to my electric bill, in some periods it's dropped by about 54%, and in this period, I'll just pull my bill and look now and give you the exact decrease. And this is year-over-year cost for me of this current billing cycle, because it was in the summer and wasn't using as much heat, but it still dropped by 37%. So to give you an idea, let's see if I can show that here. Proof's in the pudding. There's my electric bill, and it shows my yearly electric usage over time, and it compares the amount of energy that I used last year versus the amount that I used this year. Like I say, in the last billing cycle when I received this, I saw a decrease of 54%, and since I've installed the curtains, I've seen a substantial decrease across every single one of my billing periods over the last year of at least 30% or more. So hopefully that gives you an idea of the amount of savings that I'm achieving with these solar curtains. You know, I think it would cost me about $200 in fabric if I remember correctly. Like I say, I built these out about a year ago. I think it cost about $200 in fabric if I remember correctly. That's easily paid for itself. That paid for itself within the first 2 or 3 billing. I get bills every 2 months, to give you an idea. And I've been saving hundreds of dollars every bill cycle just by having these solar curtains in. So, you know, if there's people out there that are debating on whether these are worth installing, and you've got south-facing windows, you live in a cooler environment where you're wanting to get heat in your house, these solar curtains are absolutely invaluable. They've well more than paid for themselves. Like I say, just even in this last hydro bill, they've probably saved me about, just over the last 2 months, they've probably saved me, what, $50? And they've been up for a year now. As we move into I'll switch camera angles and I'll kind of discuss some of the subtle features I've noticed over the last year with these curtains as well. So like I say, people that have seen the previous build out when I originally installed these things know that I had, behind this pantry, I had 2 large windows that sat side by each with each other, and I put up a unit into each one of those. But needless to say, they're not even noticeable, just passive unit been hanging there, and they just produce a massive amount of heat. They really have, they've outproduced the amount of power compared to all the solar panels that are sitting out there. They've outproduced them when it comes to the amount of energy savings. You know, for the $200 I spent on these curtains and the amount of heat they produce to help heat my home, it's made it that I would say normally I would have the heat kicking on about 10 months of the year. We're now, getting to the latter part of October. I haven't turned my heat on since last, I think, January or February, when I turned them off. And one of the really, really good parts, I'll shift camera angles again, and I'll kind of talk, I'll step back outside and kind of talk about the sun angles and stuff on the building, yeah? So 2 seconds, I'll shift camera angles and then I'll go off some more. Okay, so I've just moved back outside again, and kind of want to just talk about, you know, sun angles and stuff on the building. So what ends up happening, I found over the last year of having these installed, I'll just try to panel this up to show you, like, yeah, I've got the overhang here, right? So in the summertime, what I've noticed is the way they build the buildings and that kind of stuff, it makes it that these 2 panels right here, in the middle of the day, the sun's really high in the sky. So what I'm finding is it's only about the bottom half or so of the panels that get hit in peak summer, which is perfect for me, my situation, and you know, the way I've got things set out here, because it'll create a little bit of heat, but in the summertime I don't want it to create huge amounts. I just want it to take the chill off of the room, because in the climate I live in, quite often it's below 70 degrees Celsius or 7 degrees Fahrenheit, 20 degrees Celsius. Quite often it'll be below those temperatures. So having, you know, even just the bottom half of these curtains in the summer, adding heat to the place just makes it comfortable, you know. And when it comes to the spring and the fall, I'll shift back a bit here. So when it comes to the spring and the fall though, what I find is as the sun goes down lower in the sky, because the latitude I'm at is near 50 degrees when it comes to, you know, where I'm positioned on the planet, if you will. I'm up near Seattle, Washington, to give you an idea of my location, you know, for the Americans out there. But needless to say, in the spring and the fall, as the sun moves down lower in the sky, it ideally starts to hit the entire panel then, and that's when it starts to really produce more heat, if you will. So the spring and the fall tend to be peak production of these heating elements, if you will. The solar curtains, you know, heat production tends to be more in the spring, fall, you know, in the wintertime and that kind of stuff. I found that in the wintertime the sun's not in the sky for as long, so I don't get quite as many sun hours, if you will, just because the sun's not, you know, not as available. But it's not about the outside temperature or anything else. It's more about the reality of, am I in a clear sunny day or not? And that's really the biggest thing that impacts these units. So, you know, to give you an idea, I'll just talk in Celsius now to make it simpler, of these units can see a temperature increase in a matter of seconds when the sun shines directly on them of at least 30 degrees Celsius. You know, all the solar energy that shines on those immediately gets turned into heat. And it's really, really efficient in that regard, that I've really found these solar curtains to be outstanding in their performance. And the amount of, like I say, money I'm saving on my hydro bill is just, it's, I mean, to me, it was worth the investment full bore. But hopefully that gives the people out there an idea of the solar curtains that I did. And like I say, when it comes to the solar panels and their production and stuff, and I'm in a townhouse unit with just some south-facing stuff. You know, I didn't, there's no building permits or any of the stuff that I needed to achieve this level of stuff. So, you know, if you're on the fence about, are you leery about implementing this kind of stuff into your place, is it worth the money to turn around and buy these types of, you know, specialty fabrics and that kind of stuff? From my lens, they've already paid for themselves, and they're good now. I can leave them up there for years and years. They literally paid for themselves in the first probably 6 months, and from here on in, it's just been absolute energy savings. You know, I haven't found anything that competes with these solar curtains for cutting down my electric bill like it has. Nothing I've done in the past. I've built other solar air heaters where I've used pop cans that were spray painted and aluminum glass and all that stuff. All of that stuff was just garbage compared to this. So I can honestly say, out of, you know, a year's worth of experience now with these, if you're wanting to, you know, make your home more energy efficient and you've got south facing windows, the solar curtains are 100% the way to go. So I'll shift camera angles and wrap it up, because like I said, I wanted to just kind of make this a quick video and give an update, because I've been getting lots of comments on the channel from people wondering, you know, I haven't talked about this stuff in a little while, and just wanted to know how it's been performing through time. So hopefully this gives you kind of a clear understanding of, you know, how much performance has been happening. It's really, and from my lens, has been quite fantastic. So like I say, I'll shift scenes and wrap it up though, yeah? Okay, so, and I'll stop and give kind of a quick update to the thinking of the next couple of videos I'm going to be putting out on this channel for people that are kind of curious. Like I said, I've just been really busy in my own personal life and had a lot of stuff going on, so I just haven't had time to make videos. But I know in the last video I put out, I showed this modular rope craft system, and that was quite a long video. Probably a lot of people that didn't manage to watch the whole thing and don't really, you know the full impact of the usefulness of these kinds of units. So I do want to do a couple shorter videos, definitely shorter videos, showing some of the useful things that I can do with these units. And then beyond that, I understand that there's a lot of people out there that don't necessarily have this specialized Kevlar cord and that kind of stuff, you know, readily available to them, especially in the bushcraft community. But they do have, say, you know, 550 paracord and tarred bank line and that kind of stuff. So I also have plans to show a simplified version of doing this modular ropecraft system, where you can use paracord and bank line to achieve similar, you know, results as you do with this stuff, without having to break the bank and potentially just using stuff that you already have in your kit. So I do plan on doing some videos on that. I've got a few portable shelters that I have, and I've been wanting to do videos on those for a while. In essence, I've got a whole mobile bachelor pad that I want to show in a video, and so that one's going to be pretty fun and exciting, I think. But needless to say, that'll be a whole separate video where I'm going to do probably a video on the new shelter that I have, and then do a comparison. I did a video previously on the Fatfish shelter that I have. It's up on the channel, you know, a few videos back. But I have a new, better, more advanced portable shelter that I'll do a comparison video of with that as well. I've got to set that up and modify the stove jack and stuff so it can take my titanium stove and that kind of thing. But needless to say, there's going to be more kind of bushcraft content videos. I'm hoping to put out another piano video or two in the near future. I haven't done one of those in a while. So there is content coming on the channel. I know it's been probably near 2 months since I've done the last video. I'm sorry this one's a quick one, but hopefully it gives you an idea of kind of what's coming in the near future. And if you know, luck still stays with me, I'll have more free time to be able to stop and do those videos. But if you enjoy this type of content, thanks for watching, yeah, and like, share, subscribe, that kind of thing if you haven't. And hopefully I'll have another video out in the near future. Thanks for watching. Cheers.